destruction, no power. You can't prepare for the shock of the hour.
The hour here represents.
No one can make an intelligent decision without being properly informed. This is why this world wants to control the media. This is why media hype can take you up, take you down. So you don't know anymore who's really good, because the media can make a wicked man look good and make a good man look evil. That is why.
Good evening. You are watching a special edition of the Final Call News Hour. I am your host, Herman Muhammad. No, I haven't seen you in a long time, but welcome to 2017. The Final Call News Hour is the partner of the Final Call newspaper and the Final Call online edition that you can visit at digital.finalcall.com. The Final Call newspaper, of course, is the most widely circulated black-owned and operated publication not only in this country but in the world, and also serves as the communications organ for the Nation of Islam. Again, my name is Brother Herman Muhammad, and the issue that we'll be coming out of today, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, is volume 36, number 13. What did 2016 mean for Black America? Very, very powerful edition of the Final Call News Hour. And I'm going to be brief, but I just wanted to stop in and chop it up with my people and, talk about some of the latest issues that have been going on in America and throughout the world via the Final Call newspaper. Now, of course, again, the issue is what did 2016 mean for Black America? And it meant a whole lot. Let me just start on page 3 of this particular edition of the Final Call newspaper. And the article is entitled Black America 2016, Struggle, Opportunity, and the Necessary Ill Wind of Trump. And it's written by a contributing writer named Brian Crawford, who could be reached on Twitter. His handle is at Mr. Craw, MRCRAW 4D. And it begins, each year has its unique footprint that leaves an indelible mark on history. For Black people, 2016 could be seen as a year of change, and in many respects, an awakening in politics, economics, health, and culture. Between the continued assault on Black bodies by police and racially, politically charged 2016 presidential election cycle, Blacks were reminded that they are collectively still in pursuit of freedom, justice, and equality in America. However, this realization did have a positive effect. It reignited the importance of Blacks rallying around one another and doing for self. Now, that's extremely important. This particular article also states some very, very critical statistics in regards to Black people in our condition in America. And it reads, as of December 23rd of this year, 940 people have been shot and killed by police in the United States. Of this number, 226, that's 24%, of the victims were Black men, while a large majority of these shootings went ignored by the national media. Quite a few became high-profile, controversial cases. Police shootings of Philando Castile near Minneapolis, Alton Sterling in Baton Rouge, Tyree King in Columbus, Ohio, that's the 13-year-old little brother, Keith Lamont Scott in Charlotte, Terrence Crutcher in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Corinne Gaines in Randallstown, Maryland were just a few of the high-profile cases in 2016. So we had a lot of we took a lot of hits in 2016, and to be quite honest, I'm glad to see 2017 roll in because we lost some very important people. And the final call, of course, covered a lot of these untimely deaths of some of our great ones, first and foremost. And when we, and, you know, we lost a lot of people in 2016. Let me just say that. The world of celebrity lost a lot of people in 2016, but I'm not really referring to Carrie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds, even though I'm sure their loss is monumental. But I'm referring to people in regards to the movement of the liberation and the salvation of black people here in America and throughout the diaspora. Most notably, or one of the most notables, of course, is the greatest of all time, and I just love this image, Muhammad Ali, who we lost earlier this year. And of course, Muhammad Ali was a champion for the cause of our people. He did more than just float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. He was a brilliant black man, in addition to being arguably the greatest fighter of all time. Another one that we lost, another great one, and we can't say enough about his social activism as well, even though it was pretty much low-key, is our brother Prince Rogers Nelson, who passed away unexpectedly, they said, from an overdose of drugs, apparently. But of course, when you look at the brother, he lived a very clean lifestyle. He didn't put any bad food into his body. So, you know, it's always suspect when we lose great ones like Prince, who died at, I think he was only like 56 or 57. And, you know, of course, he had obtained the rights to his masters and all of his music. So all of that is always suspicious. But, you know, may Allah be pleased with our brother Prince Rogers Nelson. We also lost a great one internationally, in the person of Comandante Fidel Castro, who also passed this year in 2016, the leader of the Cuban Revolution. And if you don't know anything about Fidel Castro, man, you should definitely read up and get hip to that history regarding Brother Fidel, because we lost a great one. And we only hope and pray that his brother Raul Castro in Cuba and those who benefited from his revolution will continue his work. You could also, if you get an opportunity, pick up this particular edition of the Final Call newspaper, which covered the life and death and the accomplishments of Brother Fidel Castro, who was a friend, an absolute friend of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and of oppressed people throughout the world. So, definitely pick that up if you can. If you know any FY who have any older copies of the Final Call newspaper, or you can go online and download that one again at digitalfinalcall.com. So those are some of the many losses that we had in 2016. But they're like the paper mentioned on that article on page 2. There were also some strides that black people made, and one of the strides that black people did make in 2016 was, and there's an article that appears on page 5 of this edition of the Final Call newspaper. And let me give you a shot of that newspaper again, just so you don't get it mistaken. And again, it reads, what did 2016 mean for Black America? But on page 5, is dealing with the article is dealing with Black America 2016, a look back, and the article is entitled "Activism Rose as Injustice Grew in 2016," and this is written by our beautiful sister, national correspondent, Sister Charlene Muhammad, and she could be reached on Twitter. Her handle is @SisCharlene, @SisCharlene. And it starts out, a harrowing year for blacks spawned activism reminiscent of the Black Power struggle and Civil Rights era combined. Young people took to the streets, challenged political candidates, exposed campus racism, and their audacity, courage, and energy drew many others to join the uprising. In 2016, black youth, faith groups, and online activist organizations like Change.org escalated activity against police, brutality, and mob attacks, medical genocide, discrimination, low wages, and environmental racism. Activists and organizations disregarded artificial barriers and found unity in some common agreements to fight against white supremacy, which reared its ugly head in varied forms. They have opposed the man-elected President Donald J. Trump and are planning to protest during his January 20th inauguration. But that's just one issue and one aspect of activism in the closing year. The other piece that came up in 2016 very prominently was the Black Lives Matter, or the BLM movement. And Sister Charlene continues, Black Lives Matter. Dr. Melina Abdullah, Black Lives Matter Los Angeles organizer and chair of the Pan-African Studies Department at California State University, Los Angeles, said the organization is absolutely engaged in trying to end state-sanctioned police violence against black people. It's involved in various legal cases, but the overarching problem is how the existing system oppresses and kills blacks, she said. We really want to back away from the traditional model of policing that really puts our safety in the hands of a system that really despises us, that uses us, and that benefits from injustice meted out towards us, Dr. Abdullah said. We're committed to pushing back from police. We believe in the eventual abolition of policing as we know it and are reimagining what public safety looks like, she added. And so all of these, this activism that Dr. Abdullah speaks of, our beautiful sister from Los Angeles, stems from all of the violence that has taken place against black people and people of color, not only in 2016, but in years prior to 2016 as well. And so the Black Lives Matter movement has been very, very prominent in fighting against that. Now, there's a multitude of problems that are presented when it deals with violence against black people. And there's a multitude of strategies that we must employ in order to fight against it. And Sister talks about changing or reimagining what public safety looks like and changing the way that policing takes place in this country, which is really an uphill battle. But let me tell you, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who is the national representative of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, what he has done and what he has talked about, in particular at last year's 20th anniversary of the Million Man March, Justice or Else, was policing our own communities. And what that means, the apparatus that he came up with and that we came up with to help institute that type of activism, if you will, or activity, if you will, is the 10,000 Fearless. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan called for 10,000 fearless to stand in between the guns, the police, and our people. 10,000 fearless men and women who who would actually do the work of policing our people. Because no one's going to police us like us. No one is going to solve our community problems like we will, because it's our community. And so, in your cities, including Denver, look out for the 10,000 Fearless. And if you have any questions about the 10,000 Fearless in this city, please hit me up, man. Don't hesitate to hit me. You can hit me on Facebook. You can hit me on my YouTube or my Ustream channel. And this is gonna go out to everybody on Facebook. So definitely do that. Hit me up if you want to be a part of that, because we're trying to build that movement right here in the city of Denver. The 10,000 Fearless. Keep that in mind. And we'll start organizing as time progresses on in 2017, because we have to establish the 10,000 Fearless in the city of Denver. All right? So that's one of the things. The other thing that I wanted to bring up, and the article talked about it, and we talked about it in the first article as well, and that is the presidency of this young fella, Mr. Donald J. Trump. And, you know, I can't tell you the reactions that I've witnessed of people in regards to the election of Donald J. Trump. Some people will refuse to call him the president. They don't even want to acknowledge that he actually won. They can't believe that he's won. Our people have been wringing their hands about the fact that Donald Trump won, and oh my God, what is it we gonna do? And the answer is quite simple. We're gonna do exactly what we've been doing. And we're going to do more of what we should be doing as a result of Donald J. Trump. The article, and let me quote it right. The article on page 2, the first article that I cited, called him a necessary ill wind. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that if Donald Trump was elected, he would take America to hell in a rocket ship. So, with that being said, let's get ready to ride that rocket. And more importantly, let's get ready to depend on one another to save ourselves instead of depending on some benevolent white man to save us. Because that ain't gonna happen. So in this article, and it continues on page 36 about Mr. Donald J. Trump and him being a necessary ill wind, it reads, in a recent interview on Muhammad and Friends, Minister Farrakhan was asked by the show's host, Munir Muhammad, for thoughts on the election of Mr. Trump to the presidency of the United States. The minister described the real estate tycoon as a necessary ill wind to blow on the dry bones in the valley. Those winds will force blacks to come together and act in their own interests, and separation from white America is the divine solution, he added. Black rejection of this reality will only bring more suffering, warned Minister Farrakhan. During his presidential run, Mr. Trump was openly supported by white supremacists as he espoused the law and order politics similar to two notable Republican Party predecessors, Richard Nixon and Ronald Reagan. Check your history. Consequently, Mr. Trump made Chicago a focal point of this rallying cry, and even alluded to the reintroduction of the controversial stop and frisk policy in the city that could land even more black people behind bars. An increase of hate-related crimes and sentiments reared its ugly head as blacks, Muslims, Latinos, immigrants were targeted after his election. Trumpism is really, really ugly. And what that means is that some of the incremental progress that was being made on several occasions will be turned back because you have someone like Jeff Sessions who has no sympathy for criminal justice reform and is likely to come down hard on issues like ban the box, as Trump sort of campaigned as the law and order's president, said Dr. Daniels. Senator Sessions, Republican from Alabama, is President-elect Trump's controversial nominee for U.S. Attorney General. It will be a tougher battle now to push for additional reforms that are needed. So, what that's basically saying, of course, is, again, like the minister alluded to, Donald Trump is an ill win, but he's a necessary win because he's going to cause us to get together. And that's what black people fail to understand. And not only is he causing black people to get together by what he's going to put on us, and he hasn't even taken office yet. He won't take office for another 13 days or so, or no, 17 days. It's the 3rd. He takes office on the 20th. But he's also causing controversy within the confines of the United States government and the systems that currently operate. For instance, the Russia hack. Donald Trump is saying that 17, count them, 17 intelligence agencies are wrong about the intelligence hack, that he actually knows more than them. Now, as absurd as that may sound, this man is the next president of the United States. So his word will carry weight. So when you have attitudes like that, coupled with the political situations all over the country, coupled with the fact that he's calling himself the law and order candidate, and that he's going to start with this stop and frisk and all of the, he's going to turn back at all of the so-called gains that President Barack Obama has made. Oh man, it's going to be a very interesting 4 years. And we need to gear up. We need to get together and do something for ourselves. As the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, let me give you a picture of him, said that we must do. We must do something for ourselves or suffer the consequences. That is the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and his star student, his national representative, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, echoes the same sentiment, that the black man must do something for himself or suffer the consequences. So those are the ill winds of President Donald Trump, and our assessment of what must be done. We don't have to waste a whole lot of time telling you what needs to be done. If you really want to know, I'm going to give you the address as to where to come to receive these divine teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad in the city of Denver. But you could always go to www.noi.org, and you could always go to digital.finalcall.com if you need that information that you're not going to get in these traditional media outlets. Now, I want to talk about one last thing before we get up out of here. And that is this. There's some madness going on in the so-called conscious community between two of our brothers. And I'm going to give you a shot of them. Brother Dr. Umar Johnson and Brother Sarah Sutanseti. And I mean, these cats, they're supposed to be consciousness brothers. Dr. Umar calls himself the Prince of Pan-Africanism. And Brother Sarah Sutanseti says that he started this black consciousness movement, that it wouldn't be nothing without him. Yet these cats are going at each other's throats like they are the worst enemies. They're calling each other niggas and all sorts of crazy names. And it is just insanity. It is the opposite of black consciousness. Because if we are black conscious, the first rule is that you gotta love black. And in order to love black, you can't hate black. And that's what these brothers are absolutely doing. So there have been all sorts of memes who have come out, that have come come out against these brothers, or that people have come up with dealing with their whole situation. But this one, I just couldn't resist. I had to post it myself on my video. And that is, we were both wrong. Because both of them are acting a damn fool. And it's interesting because in the Black consciousness movement, there's this attempt to distance Black consciousness from the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and there is an attempt to distance Black consciousness from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Yet, they will attribute Black consciousness to Brother Malcolm X, and they will attribute Black consciousness to the late great Brother Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. But it's crazy to me because Malcolm X was taught by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, right? And Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, who I don't have an image of my brother right now, but he was taught by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And so it's very interesting to see them try to write out the teachers of these great men. Oh, let me pull up a picture of Dr. Khalid. I got one somewhere around here. Be patient with me. Here we go. Here we go. That's the late, great Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad on a background of red, black, and green. But it's interesting because they're trying to, like I said, write out the minister and the messenger when Dr. Khalid and Malcolm were students of these men. So, as a student of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I just have to say to my dear brothers that take a lesson from them. Because the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, no matter how his people act towards him, he never makes an enemy out of black people, ever. And the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad never made an enemy out of black people, ever. If you have a problem with your brother, and this is from brother to brother, then you pull that brother to the side, pull his coattail, and say, hey, look, man, this is the problem I got, and you two iron that out. But you should never iron or hammer out your disputes in the public with one another, because now you doing the FBI's job, you doing the CIA's job, you doing COINTELPRO 2.0. You doing the government a favor, because now they can use the environment of hatred and vitriol to kill either one of you brothers. So that's my public service announcement, man, for today in regards to Dr. Umar and Brother Sarah Sutanseti, and just encouraging the brothers to be positive, man. Just encouraging the brothers to be positive, and you all stay positive. Now I want to give a shout out to the businesses that brought you this great programming today, and I'm very proud to do so because I happen to be the proprietor of these businesses, and one of them is the Knowledge Cafe, and I'll give you that information. And the other is Supreme Style Barbershop, and I want you to also follow me on Facebook Twitter, and whatever else, Instagram, at Brother Herman. But let me leave you with this, man. Stay black, stay strong. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Peace! Pay attention to this info that I'm giving you, and this is where you can come and hear the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad in the city of Denver. This is our study group. It's at a space called the Knowledge Cafe. You can get you a bean pie. You can get you some delicious coffee, but you can also get some knowledge via the Nation of Islam. So here it is. Peace, and I'm out.
Sounding off trumpets by the park bench. Bunch of black park kids out of dark tents. Max Ford, Muhammad, Farrakhan's, Elijah, Zephyr, Riders, Nation.
Class A, Class C. Mobbing through your city and we mob D. Trunk full of work in the back seat. On them front lines in the back streets. Yeah. We riding for the nation. Getting in for the nation. Yeah, we riding for the nation. Muhammad, that's the occupation.
It's the N-A-T-I-O-N-F-I-S-L-A-M flow. Everywhere I go, everywhere I'm at. That's the title, so it's vital that I carry that. Asking my rider, yeah, I'm buried at. Maybe too much of it. Haters can't compare to that, and baby, you just love it. Can't get enough of it. Hustles in the fruit quotes. And trying to see my muscles through the soup coat. Yeah, ain't no glucose, that ain't what this fruit mean. Foes get too close, you gon' see the routine. Suit a blue jean, brother, stay too clean. Ballin' with the final call, and I don't need a hoop dream. More like a 85 vision, 10K into the fullest in the hood where the bullets whizzing. It's understood in the prison and the streets. We live in
city of gold mine, gold line, run it up, get your touchdown. Everybody in the hood getting gunned down, either bust back or duck off with a bust down. You ain't got no time to be down, cause you up now. Little nigga lost in it, sauce with it. I was so worried about the wrong shit. I was so worried about the wrong bitch. Play it over and over until the song skip. Cause I ain't never tell us how to handle our emotions, man. They said if we let it get to us and we just wasn't focused, man. They said boys don't cry, nigga, men ain't boys, keep it all in, man. And it's hard to stand with that kind of way, we keep falling, man. We keep falling. And how we supposed to stand up? How we supposed to lift the fam up? How we supposed to join and band up? When all they ever said was man up, nigga. They look good.